I can't watch horror movies either.
So if you need someone to help you bury a body, I'm unofficially like...
We're here for you.
And can stomach it.
Yeah, we're totally here for you. Okay. Knitting My Shit Together, a knitting and fiber arts podcast where neurodivergence and yarn collide. My name is Farrah. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and you can find me on Ravelry at Farrah Knits and on Instagram at TomboyFemBags.
Hi, I'm Annika. I use they, them pronouns, and I am in Moses Lake, Washington. You can find me online on Instagram at T-Fueled Living and on Ravelry at Threadcatcher.
Yeah, that's where you can find us. Let's see. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. We have a couple of things that we've been talking about, I feel like, for weeks and have finally come to fruition. The first thing we have to do, though, so we have a Patreon account. Folks who become patrons, and you can do that for as little as $1 a month. The link for that, by the way, is in the description box below this video if you would like to become a patron. I want to occasionally do patron giveaways for patrons of all levels because it's fun, and we really love our patrons. Our patrons get extra outtakes and content every week. Right now, we're almost wrapping up Vlogtober, and then we're going to do Vlogmas. Yeah, so that's kind of the stuff our patrons get. But we're going to do a giveaway drawing right now that will be announced tomorrow when the podcast releases. And just so everybody knows, we will tag the patrons who won the giveaway will be tagged in the post for this show in Instagram. And then I will DM them to ask if they would like a stitch marker or progress keeper style peacock. So they're little peacock stitch markers and progress keepers, and then ship them off this week. So we have 6 of these to give away. So odds are pretty good right now because we just opened our patron page. And
we have 12 patrons.
So you have a 50% chance, patrons, of winning a peacock, stitch marker, or progress keeper. So let's do the drawing. Annika wrote everybody's name on a slip of paper and is in a lovely, like,
handmade pottery bowl that I found at Goodwill.
Yeah, of course you did.
I found a set of 4 of these at Goodwill, and I love them. To be honest, I've found like all of my dishes at Goodwill, and I love all of them. So,
okay, what's right. Number 1?
Here we go. Name number 1 is Carolyn.
Yay, Carolyn.
Carolyn, you have won a peacock.
And Carolyn has joined us on Stitch Group nights.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's test knit for our friend Sultan.
Looks like my mom is sending me more BTS videos. All right. Moving on to number 2. Number 2 is Lindsay.
Yay, Lindsay.
Yay, Lindsay.
Lindsay also has joined Stitch Group nights and knit with us on our Saturday Stitch Group night. She was on last night.
Yes. All right. Name number 3 is Jessica.
Yay.
Yay, Jessica. Jessie. All right. That's 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay. Like, I can count. All right. Name number 4 is Lily.
Oh, yay, Lily.
All right. 2 more, my friends. 2 more.
This is so exciting.
All right. Name number 5 is Sam.
Sam. Yay. Sam of Potager Knits.
Hold on. Oh my goodness. Okay. One more name, my friends. The last lucky person is Sarah.
Oh, yay. Sarah, Tea Time Fiber Art. So, folks, you are the winners, and you will find out when I tag you in the post on Instagram where I announce this. So if you watch this, I'll put a note in the post on Instagram too. Please DM me if you would like, at Tomboy Femme Bags, if you would like a stitch marker or progress keeper.
Yes.
Congratulations. Our 6 winners of the Pay for Your Peacock.
Thank you for being our patrons. We really appreciate you.
We do. It means a lot, especially because we just got started. It just really, really means a lot. Like, we're able to now cover the Stitch Group Room, which is awesome. And now this helps us do other fun stuff like patches and giveaways and just fun things in the future. So, thank you. Yay. Okay, that's thing number 1. Thing number 2 that we've been talking about for a while is patches. So, we have this plan to make merit badges like you get in Girl Scouts or Scouts or whatever scouty thing you're in, where you get patches. And the idea is to have it for different events, like knit-alongs for subscribers. We'll eventually have one for patrons, all of that kind of thing. So, we got the finals in for the patches. A pre-order is going to go up for both of them. So we have our Knitting Cover Your Ass Cal patch, and we have our subscriber patch. They are $8 each. The links for those, for the pre-orders, is going to go in the description box. And we will also put it in Ravelry. And I think we'll put a link in our link tree too on Instagram so that you can, order patches. The Cover Your Ass Cal patch, we won't order that one until the cal's over, I think. So you have time to order that one. The subscriber patch, I would like to do in quarterly batches, I think. That will be ongoing. So if you would like, I will place orders for both of them in January, which I know might seem like a long way off, but it's the best way to go in terms of getting them quarterly. Because in January, that will begin the new year, so then we can do quarters, and also it gives you time, and then that's when the cal ends as well. And then we'll all have merit badges. But the design is done. We want to give a big shout out to Terry Mitchell, the designer who helped us design these and worked with us on these. It was really fun working on them together and fun working with her. And what was great is Annika and I, we have utterly different taste in yarn. Like, we like each other's yarn. We appreciate it, but we just...
I can appreciate your yarn choices.
Totally. I can totally appreciate yours and be like, ooh, that's lovely. Which doesn't mean I would ever knit with it or wear it, but it's lovely. But it's really weird. On design things, we're completely in sync with each other.
Yeah, like color choices, style-wise, we're completely in sync. It was amazing.
So what we would do is Terry would send us some proofs of, hey, which of these 6 do you like? Or would you like to, flesh out a little more? And Annika and I, every time she sent us something, we would video chat. And I would say, okay, we'd ask each other, what are your top 3? And they were almost always the same, or at least 2 of the 3 overlapped.
Yeah. And with the other ones, if they didn't overlap as being our favorites, we both liked and disliked them for the same reasons. So that was also really helpful.
Yeah.
Which was
and
nice.
I'll have a picture up somewhere in all of this so you can see the 2 patches, if I haven't already put it up and it's disappeared. So that's that. Go ahead and place your pre-order. It will be $8, and I think that will include shipping. So $8 total. And yeah, that's it for the patches. And I think yeah, that's it. That's it. I was thinking something and then I'm like, no, you're overthinking that. Stop talking. So, yeah. Okay. Any other announcements we need to make? The Cover Your Ass Cal is still going on. If you don't know about that, we launched in the beginning of this month, and it is going through March 30th, 31st.
30th.
Are you sure?
Yes.
But I thought it's 30 days, has September, April, May, and November.
It's June and November. So is it 31 days in March?
Yeah.
Okay, here. We have this lovely device.
If only we had a handheld device that would tell us all the things.
All the things we want to know. Okay. Yeah, 31 days. It's a Tuesday.
So, you have plenty of time to join us. And some folks in the Cal have finished both of their legs. Not me, but some people have.
Not me either.
Yeah, who are using DK weight yarn and stuff, and they're gorgeous. And everybody is commenting, and I've said this a million times, I feel like a broken record, but I don't care. Everybody has commented how much fun they are to knit, and they're having a lot more fun than they thought they would. And so far, everybody is like, I totally want to knit another pair of these.
Yeah.
It's really
They're
fun.
really satisfying, and I did not expect that.
Yeah.
So
please feel free to join the Cal. You've got plenty of time. It's the Nether Garments recipe by Elizabeth Zimmerman. And the good news is it is size inclusive because it's a recipe. You can use any weight yarn that you want. And if you want to join or you already have joined, just start posting and use the hashtag #CoverYourAssCal on Instagram. And we also have a group on Ravelry, and you can go to our Ravelry group, and we're doing progress pictures and posts and chatter and stuff like that. Soon, maybe the beginning of November, next episode, we will do an Instagram giveaway for people Instagramming using the Cover Your Ass Cal hashtag, because we had some people donate some stuff, and we would love to give away a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's it. Should we get into the knitting?
Let's do it.
FOs, finished objects. Do you have anything, Annika?
I have none.
Wow, I thought you did.
No, I have none.
But we've both been knitting a ton. We just both have huge whips on the needles, I think.
I have so many whips.
I'm loving
it. And it's stressing me out, but that's okay.
Not me. I'm loving it because I'm loving when yeah.
I'm loving what I'm knitting. I just have too many things that I'm currently knitting, and I don't like that. So
yeah. Okay, so I have one FO. I finished my By Pride socks. I'm wearing them because I had them on today. These are the colors of the bisexual pride flag. The yarn, it's kind of gynecological looking. Okay, the yarn is, the yarn is, Malia made it, and she will do custom pride flag striped sock yarn in whatever flag you want. So I did the By Pride flag, and I love these. They are yummy. I finished them last night and wore them today, and I love them. Yay, socks. Okay, that's my only FO. You should go order pride flag socks from Malia. Made it in whatever kind of pride you are, if you're queer. There isn't a straight pride thing, because every day is straight pride day. Okay, because heteronormativity. So anyway, Off of that soapbox. Annika, whips. Let's talk about our works in progress.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, hold on. I have like 6 more stitches left.
Take your time.
And then I can show this one. Please. Go. Go. Hold on. Oh, come on. I lied. There was 10 more stitches, not 6. Sorry. I can't count. Done. Okay. So for my first one, this is the Ripple Bralette by Jessie May. And, like, I'm in love and super excited. The yarn that I'm using is Opal Diamond sock yarn in colorway number 6524. And I, like, have maybe a yard left of it. And then I'm going to attach 6523, which is also an Opal Diamond colorway number. So I'm getting really close. I've finished the main body, and now I'm just doing the top edging before I separate for the cups and straps. And so I'm super, super close, and I'm really, really excited. And yeah, so.
That's such a not you color.
I know, but it's what I have stash yarn-wise.
No, I
have bright neon yarn saved for this project, but I'm waiting to use it. So,
okay.
So.
Well, it's lovely, and you've made really good progress on it.
Yeah, I'm really happy that it's almost done.
Okay, what else you got going on?
All right, let's see. Hold on, I have all the bags. I started a pair of vanilla socks accidentally. I meant to cast on the Jaywalkers, but my toe didn't end up the correct number of stitches, and I had already cut the yarn, and I wasn't going to reattach the yarn to like increase the rest of the way. So I just attached the yarn and started vanilla socks.
Ooh.
These are like bright neon, and it's micro striping too, which is really cool. Ooh, there we go. It's micro striping, which I didn't expect it to do.
Is that a Planet Progress Keeper?
Yeah, it's a Saturn Progress Keeper. It's from Sarah. Sarah of Tea Time Fiber Arts sent it to me when I ordered yarn from her. So, and in case everyone doesn't know at this point, I'm a Capricorn in like all of my placements, or in the majority of my placements, and Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn. So, anyway, so the yarn that I'm using for the toe, and I'll be using it for the heels too, most likely, is Premier Serenity Sock Weight in navy, which is a lie because it's really charcoal gray. And then the rainbow, like Lisa Frank neon rainbow of my dreams is Manos del Uruguay Alegría yarn in Locura Fido, and I love it. It's so soft.
So here's my question for you. You wanted me to finish my By Pride socks so that I could cast on Jaywalkers so we can knit them at the same time. Are you going to do Jaywalkers too still, or do I have to wait for you?
Oops. My Jaywalkers.
Okay.
I gotcha. I almost never have just one pair of socks going.
Okay.
This is why it seems like I finish socks so quickly, is because I generally have 2 going at the same time, and when I finish one, I'm like, oh, I want to finish the other, and yeah, so yeah. So I have the Jaywalkers, but I've literally only cast on 2 rows, so I'm not taking that out of the bag. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm casting them on tonight, by the way.
What?
I have the yarn set aside, but I'm casting them on tonight.
Ooh. All right. So another project that I have going is a Christmas sweater for my son. And while he's not over here, I can show this.
So freaking gorgeous.
I have the body done, and I have like I'd say about like almost half of a sleeve done. And the pattern that I am using, what is it called? It is called King of the Castle by Jenny Weeb or Weib. I don't know how you say their last name, but it's a kid's cardigan pattern, or cardigan, sorry, raglan pullover pattern. And it's really cool too because like there's a whole bunch of kid sizes. And if I wasn't using a self-striping yarn, it has you use two colors and has some really cool detail, like really simple but detail work on the sleeves and on the bottom of the sweater. But since I'm using a self-striping yarn, I thought adding in another color would be too much, so I'm not. The yarn that I'm using is Karen Big Cakes in honey glazed, and yes,
I love that yarn. It's everything.
I'm really enjoying working with it. It's one of my favorite acrylic, 100% acrylic yarns to work with because it's so soft and non-toothy. So
yeah, a lot of acrylic is toothy, but not in the way wool is toothy. Wool is toothy, like itchy. Acrylic is toothy, like sticky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And then my last one is my nether garments. I've gotten actually like decently far on them this week. I have hit the top of my knee and started thigh increases. And I'm really excited. I still have like 50 more stitches to increase, but I'm making progress. And like, these are super fun to knit. And now that I have switched to needles that have a longer cable, it's going way faster. So, yeah. And I'm using Woolies, which is a DK weight yarn. This is the Woolies Cakes in Poseidon. It's right, gorgeous. Not Neptune, it's Poseidon. Yeah, Poseidon. So
I love it.
That's it for my whips, which is so many. So
I have several as well. One of them I am working on. This is a seamless raglan pullover. I am just using the Elizabeth Zimmerman percentage system that is in the Knitting Workshop and also Knitting Without Tears. So it's just going to be a seamless raglan pullover. Starts bottom up. I have a good, maybe 5 inches done. I have like an inch of ribbing and then up from there. Now, last week, I was about at the same spot. I was a little under this. I was a few rows beneath this, and you might be like, you haven't made much progress. And what you don't know is I got frustrated because I was knitting carelessly, and I kept doing this thing where I was putting the needle into the stitch below, and it was making random stitches sit funny, and it was bothering me. So I ripped back to like a centimeter above the ribbing and then re-knit this all. So I've actually done a fair amount of work on it because now I'm past where I was when I ripped out. So I ripped out most of this and got past. And this yarn is that a drop stitch? I don't think so. Okay, this yarn is, it's a split stitch that I'm going to fix. This yarn is by Retrosaria, Rosa Pomar Retrosaria. This is the Mondian yarn and the golden yellow color. It is 100% Portuguese wool fingering weight, non-superwash, and lovely. And the thing is, I haven't washed it yet, but already it's woolly but soft, it's woolly, not itchy or scratchy. Like, I can comfortably wear it against my neck, and I haven't washed it yet. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I'm pretty pumped to what it's going to do as after it washes. I've heard it blooms quite a bit, and I'm definitely knitting more sweaters out of it. So yeah. Okay, so that's whip number 1.
I love that it perfectly matches your chair. Like, it makes me really happy.
I know. Like, can anybody tell what my favorite color is? Spoiler alert, it's mustard yellow. Okay. Whip number 2 I can show because I'm not finished with it and I'm ripping out right now, which is like the story of my life with brioche. But I love knitting it, and so I keep doing it. But I'll show you what I did wrong. But okay, so this is called the Cianta. I can't remember what it's called. The Pianta Bandana Cowl, I think, by Lavanya Petrochella. I am test knitting this for her. It is gorgeous. It's going to be a bandana cowl. So you start with the cowl and then do the bandana. And basically what happened is a few rows back, I increased too much. And so I have to rip that out and then go from there. So I'm in the ripping out phase right now. So I can't really, yeah. But the yarn I'm using is Forest Fiber Arts. This was a color of the month. I believe this was October's color of the month. Maybe September, but I think October. By Nikki at Forest Fiber Arts. It is Beautimous. And I am going to have easily half a ball left, I believe, by the time I'm done. We'll see. This is by Fiberarium. And this colorway is called Conservatory. It's also a fingering weight yarn. This was gifted to me by Potager Knits, Sam, in our last, she was my fiber share partner. That's how I got to know Sam. So that's this. And they really are working lovely together, I believe. It's subtle, but stands out still, and I like that. And it's, see how it's striping, the Forest Fiber Arts?
I love it.
Yeah, I really love it. So I'm happy about this. Then, that's whip number 2. Whip number 3 is my nether garments, which I worked on last night. I know my goal was to have a leg done. I don't, but
you're so close though.
I'm halfway up my thigh, easily. And so I made some good progress on that. You know what I'm going to start doing? I think with my pullover and this, I am going to move my stitch marker right now. And every week, I'll show where my progress keeper is. That I can use it from week to week, how much I've knit. When I'm doing stuff that's just like, not accessories, but like garments that are round and round and round. Oh, and so this is my stitch marker by Landon, a trans guy who likes to knit. You should go check out his shop. He has tons of great pride stuff. And yeah, so those are those. I am really happy with my nether garments and how they're coming out. I love this yarn. This was dyed for me by our good friend Sultan, one of our besties. He's at Spun Nomadidico on Instagram. And it's a grello. So see there, you can see the yellows. But they're very subtle. And I love it because I have a grello problem. And when these are done, I'm going to wear them a lot. I can tell. I'm already planning out other pairs. Like, I'm definitely doing hot pants after this. And then I have a whole bunch of self-striping sock yarn, like leftovers, good amounts of it. And I'm thinking of knitting, holding 2 together and marling them and doing like self-striping marls, and which will give me a DK weight about, and doing like a crazy pants pair. That's what I'll call them, crazy pants. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. The last thing I haven't cast on yet, but I'm going to be doing it, is my Jaywalkers, which I am going to use this yarn, which is Valkyrie Fibers. This is the Rocky Horror Picture Show colorway that was dyed for October. And I'm going to make Jaywalkers, and this is the coordinating mini. And I'm going to do the toe in this yarn, and I'm going to do heels and cuffs in the mini.
Sweet.
That is my whips.
And if anyone wants to join us for the Jaywalkers, there's just a bunch of us who decided that we were all going to cast on randomly together one night, that we were all just going to make this same pair of socks together. So you're more than welcome to join us. Feel free to message Farrah or I or both of us on Instagram just to let us know that you're joining us. I mean, like, there's no...
It's nothing formal. There's not going to be giveaways. It's just friends. A lot of us are on Stitch Group, and we just were like, let's all do Jaywalkers.
Yeah, because all of us were finishing socks all about the same time, and we've decided apparently that matching socks are like the adult version of friendship bracelets. So...
They are. And Jaywalker, the Jaywalker pattern, if you're unfamiliar, it is by Grumparina on, that's her Ravelry name, their Ravelry name. I don't know what gender they are. And,
it's a free pattern.
Yeah, it's like zigzag chevron socks. And so it works really well with self-striping sock yarn. But I'm going to caveat it and say this, because I read through project notes of other people who've knit it. So I knit these, like, when I first started knitting. It was like the second or third pair of socks I did. And fortunately for me, I didn't know enough about knitting socks, so I couldn't question it. But what you're going to see is that the cast-on number is big. Like, the smallest size is 72 stitches for fingering white yarn, which might sound like these socks are going to be huge. They are not. Trust the pattern and do it, because of the chevroning, it creates a fabric that isn't super stretchy in terms of giving you negative ease, but does fit well. And so do the amount she says on the pattern, they say on the pattern, because there were people in project notes who thought they were smarter than the pattern designer and were like, that's just way too many. I'm going to cast on, like, what they normally do, like 60 or 64. And then at the end, they were all like, I can't even fit this over my foot. And some of them, like, blamed the pattern. And I'm like, you didn't follow the directions.
Yeah, don't be that person. The other thing, too, is that the pattern is written cuff down. If you are a toe up knitter, there is another version of the pattern that someone else made that basically just flips it. But looking at the pattern itself too, it's pretty flippable by itself to be a decently easy
row repeat
toe up. Yeah. So
I might reverse the chevrons.
It's just a 2-row repeat pattern wise, so yeah. I don't know.
So check it out.
Yeah. Come knit chevron socks with us.
Yeah. Get out your self-striping yarn. Okay, I think that's it for whips for me. Cool. Should we go on and do the mental health moment?
Mental health moment. Let's do it.
Okay, every week we do a mental health moment. Let's start off by saying Annika and I are not licensed mental health care providers or practitioners. We are mental health care consumers and recipients, and this is not, nor should it ever be taken as medical or therapeutic advice. We are just sharing our opinions and stories and experiences from our own lives. Boom. Never do what we say over what a doctor says. Yeah. Unless it's like, there is no unless. I was trying to come up with a...
Like, where are you going with this?
I was going to try and come up with a really, like, irreverent fictional doctor who, like, gives bad advice, who we would read about in books or TVs and be like, but nothing was coming to mind. Who's the doctor who did Frankenstein?
You mean like Dr. Frankenstein? The monster was Frankenstein's monster. Oh, and he wasn't even a real doctor. Yeah. That's, okay, so...
I haven't read it.
Oh, okay, okay. So Mary Shelley is a genius, and I adore her, and the fact that she wrote this book on a dare just, like, makes me really happy.
Is considered to
so Frankenstein was the doctor, and then it's actually Frankenstein's monster.
Because okay, got it. All right.
And the thing is, too, is that, like, Dr. Frankenstein wasn't even a doctor. Like, he had been kicked out or dropped out of the medical school program, so like undergrad, and was like grave robbing bodies to.
So this my saying fits. Unless your doctor is Dr. Frankenstein, don't listen to us over a doctor.
Yeah.
So today's mental.
Imagine being sorry. One more like small tangent off of this whole Frankenstein thing. No, could you imagine being like in Frankenstein's class and like having him drop out and then just hearing about him later on in like the news? Like, hey, you remember that kid that we were in classes with? He just got like, he was grave robbing and made this body out of those parts.
Grave robbing among medical students was actually quite common.
It's still decently common.
Yeah. If you guys want to read about dead bodies, there is this writer named Mary Roach. No, not Mary Roach. Is it Mary Roach? It might be. And she writes science books for non-science people, and they're really funny. So I read one called, it was about space flight, and then I also read one called Stiff, which is about what happens to our bodies after we die and all the ways we deal with bodies, and like organ donation and like body farms and donating bodies to science and like bodies used in crash tests because they have to use real bodies. And she talks about some of the history of this, and grave robbing was really super common back in the day because that's how we learned a lot of what we know about. They had to cut somebody's body open, and there weren't standards and guidelines like there are now about, hey, guess what? People have to give informed consent about like donating their body to science. That didn't exist. So yeah. You should read that book for a good laugh if you have a strong stomach. If you do not have a strong stomach, I would not recommend it.
The other thing that I would suggest or recommend on this topic is Ask a Mortician on YouTube. It's run by a...
How have you not told me about this?
It's amazing. So it's run by someone my age, and she... I believe those are the pronouns that she uses. She is a mortician, and like she dispels all of these myths and talks about like what actually happens to your body when you're dead, and it gets sent to all of these different places, and it's really factual and amazing. And
I will say this, in the book Stiff, she talks about what happens if you decide to go the route of having a traditional funeral where you're embalmed and all of that. It's pretty gross. Like, let me put it this way. It's not as neat and tidy as you would think. Like, people who are like, I don't ever want to give my body to science or whatever, because that's gross, or like be cremated, because I'm like, that's a totally option for me now. I would donate my body to science, I think. But
my plan is to donate my body to science, or I want to do one of those eco urns where they cremate you and then you can like grow a tree out of your ashes. Like that also really appeals to me.
Me and my siblings have all talked about what kind of tree we want to be to one another. I want to be a sugar maple, and it's funny because
Japanese maple.
Aww. And it's really funny because I was hanging out with our good friend Yelly today, and that came up. Because I picked up a sugar maple leaf, and I'm like, this is the kind of tree I want to be when I die. And she was like, have you figured out, you and your siblings, like, where you're going to be planted? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I'll probably die first, so that's their problem to figure out. Like, they can figure that shit out. I don't care. Yeah. Okay, that was a huge...
It was a weird tangent, but yeah.
But cool. But Annika, this is what I think we need to know. You and me, our brains both get fascinated about the same weird shit.
Yes.
Like mortuary science. And like what happens to dead people. And
but I was also like the kid in like elementary school who got super into like ancient Egypt and like wrote this whole report just for fun on like how they embalmed people versus how they deal with dead bodies. I mean, back in the 90s. But like I don't know, like this sort of thing has always just kind of fascinated me. And it's funny because like I can't do horror. And so like
me
the
either.
first that I watched, The Sixth Sense, like totally like freaked me out, like thinking about all of those people being dead, like just like messed with my head. But like actual dead bodies I can deal with.
Me too. I can't watch horror movies either.
So if you need someone to help you bury a body, I'm unofficially like,
we're here for you
and can stomach it.
Yeah, we're totally here for you. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Mental health moment. So I wanted to talk about how to stop fixing people. I am a fixer. Annika, you said you don't think you are a fixer.
I don't think I am.
How would you define a fixer? I have a definition. I want to hear your definition. And yeah.
I would define a fixer as someone who, when other people come to them and are like venting or have a problem, they are the ones who always come up with a solution or several, or because they don't like people being in distress.
I'm a huge fixer.
What?
I'm a huge fixer. You see it, I'm sure. I have gotten better with boundaries, so this is one thing you can do. When you want to give advice, stop and ask the person, are you open to feedback or advice?
You're really good at that.
I am.
Like, not?
Yeah. I'm also not offended if my friends, when they need to vent, when they say to me, I don't need feedback or advice, I just want to vent and need validation. That's helpful to me because then I can just listen and do that and not say anything. But I think that's one thing you can do is ask. And I think, I think how you become a fixer, I think is really multifaceted and there aren't simple answers. Like, I think one thing for me, I think some of it's temperament because I love creative problem solving. I mean, that's what I love about bag design too. Like, how could I do this? You know what I mean? But then I think what happens is it's when you're a creative problem solver gone horribly awry. Like, for me, I grew up with a parent who I felt like I had to fix and like help them cope with their own emotions and emotional distress. So then what happens is my brain from a really young age got trained to do that. And I also got trained into like being uncomfortable with other people's distress because I never learned how to let people be in distress and just be there to validate and affirm them and listen and not fix it. Like, I never learned how to do that. I'm just am. So I think for me, I think everybody's story is going to be different. That's how I became a fixer. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. And I think fixing the other really handy / not handy thing about being a fixer, I think I did this for decades, which is how I ended up in the hospital partially. Well, it's one of the things, is I think when you're a fixer, it can keep you from being paying attention to your own needs. Like, you can so throw yourself into everybody else's struggles that you don't have to look at the work you need to do, like your own areas of struggle. And I think it can be a handy little distraction from that. And I say handy facetiously because it's really not helpful at all. Yeah. Do you have thoughts on this, Annika?
Nothing yet. Sorry, I was laughing because Maddie licked my foot, so. Not because I was, yeah. Can you just not?
So I think one thing you can do is this. First off, I think start to just be mindful and become aware, I think is the first step, because you can't fix in yourself or stop a behavior that you're not aware of. And so I think start noticing, not doing anything, just noticing every time you feel an urge. Let me fix your fixing for you. Every time you feel an urge to fix, just what helped me is just starting to pay attention to that. And then start asking, like, why do I feel an urge to fix this? Like, what is uncomfortable for me in this? And then I think, too, building a habit of asking before giving advice. I think taking up your own work and working on your own areas of struggle can help too, because then you're so busy doing that, you don't have time to think about anybody else's shit or energy, is another thing.
I think another good way too is to bring up this, what's the word I'm looking for? Behavior or like, can't think of the word, with a therapist.
Yeah.
Because they'll have other tips and tricks to specifically tailored to you and your personality.
Yeah.
That may work better for you.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. I think fixers are really prevalent in the neurodivergence community. Maybe not. Do you?
No, I'd agree with that because I think it's a trauma response for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So.
And Annika and I have before, like, vented about unsolicited advice. And that's what fixers do. And the thing is, not everything is yours to fix.
Yep.
And when you can't sit with your own, I mean, it makes sense because I think for most neurodivergent folks have a hard time sitting with their own uncomfortable emotions. And if you can't sit with your own uncomfortable emotions, how the hell are you going to sit with anyone else's? Yeah. So it makes sense. It's understandable, but we can understand something and still work to change it.
Yes.
I think that's it. That's a brief mental health moment. But I was kind of struggling this week to come up with a mental health moment. I'm like, I got nothing. I was like, how about this?
We should have talked about hyper-focusing instead, since we talked longer about grave robbing than we did the mental health moment this week.
Maybe next week we can talk about hyper-focusing and say, if you're confused about what that looks like, go watch our episode from last week, where we talk about grave robbing.
Whoops.
I don't know. If you have anything else to add, if you feel like throwing me a lifeboat here, this mental health moment, feel free. Like, feel free to save me from myself. I don't know, in this situation.
Yeah.
I just didn't plan ahead enough and think it out well enough. And
if you are friends with a fixer, and they are not at the point where they're either A, noticing their fixing behavior, or B, just like, I don't know, if they're just not there, and or if you're just not in the space to have them fix or give feedback in that way. Like, I mean, one, it depends on the, like, I guess, level of your relationship, and two, whether or not you mind keeping that relationship with how respectfully you ask them to stop. But there are ways to gently redirect the conversation. And my favorite personally is, I really appreciate how much you care about me and how much you want to help me, but right now I just need validation or needed to vent. I don't need a solution to this problem.
Yeah.
And
you're good at asking for when you want ideas too. Like the other day we talked and you said to me, can I get your feedback about something? And I'm like, I'm an Aquarian. Of course. You can get my feedback about something. I'll give it to you even if you don't ask, probably. So, yeah.
So, yeah. So, if you're not the fixer, you can put the boundaries up yourself too and get support in the way that you need it.
Yes. Okay. I think that's it. Is Eric home yet?
Nope. Nope. Though he'll probably be home in like 5-ish minutes would be my guess.
Okay.
So.
Because I want you to be able to head out when you need to head out. Hey, will you show everyone the bag I got or the thing I got you for your room?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I got Annika this present and I'm so happy about it. I want them to show you all. It was a surprise present.
Says keep calm and poop rainbows, and it's rainbow and it has a unicorn on it, and it's a pillow cover, and it's for my new room, and it's amazing.
I love it.
And I love it. Yeah. And I just got here. Let me see if I can show. I just got a gray futon.
Nice.
And this is gonna look so good on it. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Keep calm and poop rainbows, people.
Yeah.
I am today, here's a random thing we can talk about before we go. I'm going to try and put all my stash in Ravelry. Today. Tonight's the night. Because I have a problem of having yarn that I forget I have.
ADHD problems right there.
Yeah. And I know if you go to like episode 1 through 10 of this podcast and watch them when it was just me and I had someone with me to call me on my total bullshit, you will see all the times where I self-righteously talk about I'm not into a big stash and mine's all contained in this one container. And yeah, ask me about that now.
Ask Farrah about her yarn diet.
It's terrible. So I feel like getting it all in Ravelry will be helpful.
Yeah, that's why I created a Google spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I just want something that I can take with me and that I will remember I have and is easy to input and delete stuff in. And to be honest, I forget that Ravelry has the stash feature. There's nothing wrong with it. I just forget that Ravelry has it. And so it's just not a good solution for me.
Yeah, and everybody has a tool that works for them. And for you, Ravelry is not it. And for me, it is. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I am going to start putting everything in Ravelry. Our friend Maya had a good point too, which is cataloging your yarns in whatever way works for you and putting it on the cloud is good insurance too. Because if your house burns down, you can claim it with your house insurance because you'll have an actual catalog of what you had. It would be hard to have your house burn down and lose all your yarn.
I think that would honestly be the thing that I'd be most upset about if my house burned down.
If your house burns down, I will do a yarn drive for you and get people to buy.
Personally, I don't expect my house to burn down, but thank you. I mean, wildfires are a really big problem out here, and houses out here do go up in flames, and they have really big issues with fires. But since we're on the peninsula, the fire would have to jump the lake on 3 sides. or the like 8-lane freeway. So I feel like we're okay and decently safe.
So Moses Lake is an actual lake?
Yeah, Moses Lake is an actual lake.
Is it man-made?
Yes.
So that's the thing about out there, is all the lakes are man-made.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
It started out as an irrigation lake that draws from the Columbia River. So, because it's really big with farming out here. So, yeah. Did you know that Grant County, Washington is the lead potato farming area in the United States?
No, I did not. Not Idaho, huh?
I thought it would be Idaho, but it's actually Grant County, Washington, which is where Moses Lake is in. And I just did not expect that, but it explains a lot about our agriculture out here. So,
well, did you know Idaho might not have the most potatoes, but they do have the most Mormons? Idaho, there are more Mormons per capita in Idaho than Utah.
I didn't know that, which is kind of surprising.
I think I heard that somewhere, and from somebody who lived in Idaho. I wonder if it's really true.
I wonder if it's because of the BYU campus out there, and it like
is BYU in Idaho?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a BYU campus in Idaho.
That might be why. So
there are a lot of the more students from my high school went.
Some smarty pants is going to Google fact checked me and be like, you're wrong. And it's entirely possible that I'm wrong because it's like a thing I heard from somebody years ago. So who knows? But it'd be kind of cool if it was right. You've been to Utah, right?
Yeah, we drove through Utah on the way back from Texas.
Did you see how liquor stores are in Utah?
No, because I was with my dad and my children.
It's really weird. Okay, so Utah has pretty strict standards around alcohol. Not surprising. It's bizarre. So liquor stores are state-run. It's not like private individuals who open a liquor store.
They were state-run until like 5 years ago at the most here in Washington, too.
And the front of them looks like a government building, not like a liquor store, almost in a way. And it says like alcohol sales or something like that. I had a picture. And I was like, that is so bizarre. And if you go to a restaurant in Utah, so Matthew and I were in Utah 2 summers ago, and we were hiking. We went on a hike in Arches, and we went to some parks and places in Utah. Anyway, we did a hike, and then it was a really hot day, and it was after, we hiked in the morning so that we could be done by the hottest part of the day. And then we were like, hey, wouldn't a cold beer be really nice right now? We were like, yes. And we weren't hungry because we'd already eaten lunch. We had packed a lunch. So we're like, let's just go to a liquor store and or let's just go to a restaurant and get a beer. And then we'll keep walking around. And so we went to this liquor store, and the person gave us a menu, like a full menu. And we were like, oh, no, we're good. We're just going to grab a beer. And they were like, yeah, we can't serve alcohol unless somebody orders a food item, too.
Wow.
In restaurants, that's the thing. And I was like, okay, then bye, I guess. We'll leave and go back to our campsite where we have beer in a cooler that we brought from a different state, and we can drink whenever we want.
All right, then.
It was bizarre. So, anywho, if you live in Utah, that's some serious hardcore laws around alcohol. But I get it. I mean, I don't, but that's cool. You do you, Utah. Okay. I think that's it. Should we go?
Probably.
Have we been tangential enough this episode? I did forget. Remember how I was like, oh, I'm going to take my evening Adderall? That didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Okay. Bye, people. Wednesday and Friday, we will be doing our lives like we do. Enjoy that. What did we say we were going to put on Instagram on Sundays, Annika?
My post. I post on Sundays.
Okay.
Which I did today.
Awesome. You can tell how much I've been on Instagram today. My phone didn't charge while I was sleeping. So I went to go hang with the Ellie, and I'm like, I have almost no battery. We'll be on Instagram live on Wednesday and Friday. And this will be coming out tomorrow, Monday. Should Christy have indeed fixed all my problems, which I believe they have, and with computer technology stuff. And we now know the Payer Peacock winners. Congratulations to all of our patron winners.
Thank you for supporting us once again.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
All of our patrons. If you like our podcast, like and subscribe down below. And go look for the patches and join the Cover Your Ass Cal. That's all the reminders.
Yes.
And we will see you next week. We love you all, posse of weirdos.
We do.
We do.